Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko and I'm here with Terry Morrow. Say hi, Terry.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week we watched another episode of The West Wing and another episode of Making It. But first we caught up with So You Think You Can Dance. So we had 14 dances. And what did you think of each and every one?
Shall I go in order or by dancer?
There was a lot.
I guess it was nice that they had them in every combination. Maybe they could have done without the all-star in that case. But, I suppose they had the 2 hours to fill, so what are you going to do? That's a lot of dances.
It was a lot.
It was a lot for them to learn. It was a lot for us to watch and keep track of and care about. But I enjoyed them. It was enjoyable. It seemed like some were longer than others, but maybe not.
Well, the solos felt very, very short to me.
They always do.
Fine. I didn't love... I liked Slavic's and Jensen's solos.
Yeah.
I thought that Hanale's was just like showing how strong she is, but it wasn't graceful or pretty to watch.
She is, as they called her, Gumby, and she's just incredibly flexible.
Yes. And teeny tiny.
And teeny tiny.
Like an ant.
Yes.
As Nigel said.
Things that short people love to hear. Just like an ant.
But it was cute when Slavic said, she weighs less than my backpack. When she was on his back.
Yeah, I have to say I really enjoyed Slavic this week. Looking around online, I see that is somewhat of an unpopular opinion, but he just seemed just charming and cute and sweet. And I thought he threw himself, like they said, he threw himself into everything. And
yeah,
I thought he looked good. I liked his dancing.
Contemporary that he did with the All-Star, I thought he did a really, really nice job. And, fine. I thought he pulled off the cha-cha okay.
I thought so too.
He's not Jensen, but she's like they said, she's like a professional.
Yeah, that's her thing also.
That's her thing.
And, have her try some of the stuff he does.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard when somebody whose style is not necessarily a choreographed or a partner endeavor, but I think he's gotten stronger and stronger every week. He was very good. I really liked him. Mm-hmm. And I was laughing because it seemed like he had his dance with Genesee at the beginning, and then he had all these other partners, and he was saying really nice things about them and hugging them and holding their hands. And I thought, are they trying to sabotage him with the shippers? Are they trying to get all the little preteen girls to go, why aren't you looking at Genesee? And I was kind of worried about that. And then I noticed at the end when they were all kind of bopping around the stage, the two of them immediately got together and started dancing together. And I thought, you kids are very smart. Get that little bit in there at the end for everybody to go, oh, it's okay. They still love each other.
Look, they're still...
They were just being nice to their partners. But, I enjoyed all his dances. I enjoyed really everybody. I thought there wasn't really anything I hated particularly tonight. I enjoyed watching all of the dances. But I'm not entirely sure who I'm going to vote for. I know,
I'm having trouble
I liked Jensen and Slavic have been my two that I've really liked. But I liked Hanale a lot today. I think Genesee is the one who's impressed me the least, but she's still very good. Mm-hmm. And, oftentimes you're only as good as the dances you're given. Hanale is just very impressive just because of her flexibility and the things she can do with her body. Mm-hmm. Stands out, I think.
Yeah, like when she did the duet with Slavic.
Oh my gosh.
She was like in a split position for like at least 50% of that dance. Like,
I love the part in the practice where she ends up like over his back and he says, we're just going to go to the judges like this. Talk to me and I'll turn around. Very cute. I think he showed his personality more this week. And cute little mother and stepfather, I guess, out in the audience. I don't know. But I thought Jensen did very good. I liked her stuff. And boy, does she want it.
Yeah, and I didn't love the duet they had her do with Genesee, the Broadway.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Because, first of all, she had a terrible wig on.
Yes.
Like, extremely bad.
And
that
so did
looked
Genesee,
like
to be fair.
doll hair
Yeah.
that was stuck on her head. But I feel like it was choreographed so weird that, like, some of the time she's supposed to be doing exactly what Genesee was doing, but some of the time she was supposed to be, like, half a step behind.
Uh-huh.
Like, deliberately not quite catching up.
Right.
And I just did not care for that at all.
I mean, there wasn't really that much dancing in that thing. It was more of like an acting exercise. I thought it was really weird, especially compared to some. Although I really didn't like the number that Jensen and Hana Lee did either. That weird thing.
The thing called heels that no one's ever heard of? The style of dance called heels?
Yes, with the awful, awful costumes that Nigel praised. They looked ridiculous. What are you talking about? Yeah. And that was, I feel like any woman dancing next to Hana Lee is going to look big and clumsy just because she's such a little, such a tiny little dynamo and such a little nymph, and it's like, even if you're doing the same steps and you're doing it at the same pace, you're going to look lumbering next to her.
I thought that routine was very athletic. I mean, that's the part that impressed me about it.
Yeah.
Not the, like, burlesque twist that it was supposed to have.
That was weird. Yeah, that one I didn't care for. Hana Lee has to, like, be on her school's cheer team and be the one they throw up in the air, right? She's the one at the top of the pyramid that they then tumbles all the way down it and gets caught.
Yeah. Or she in her duet with Fiction, I don't think that she was necessarily supposed to fall into the box at the end.
I saw somebody else say that online. I thought it was supposed to be because they had the little sound effect of the breaking glass.
Oh, maybe.
But maybe they was just supposed to drop it. They were just supposed to drop it or something.
They made it look like they were very surprised. If they were supposed to do it, they made it look like they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yes, that was a cute number.
I love Fiction. He can dance anytime.
I didn't see the season that he was on, so I just know him from all-star appearances. But yes, he's very enjoyable to watch, and that was a very cute number. That was well done. So it was a fun episode to watch, and everybody was happy.
And Jensen's her all-star was with Robert, and it was contemporary, but it was very pretty. I thought it was very graceful, and although I did not care for this, like, weird top that they put on her that looked like, dark colored pantyhose, like made into a shirt.
Yeah, it was a little weird, and I just got very tired of all the talk about vulnerability.
Yeah, no,
it's the connective tissue of our souls.
Pass.
You must be vulnerable. Could you just dance? And it's like, for the vulnerability, I feel like you need to see facial expressions, but it was dark, and the camera was way off.
From a distance, yeah.
So did they feel she was insufficiently vulnerable, so they didn't, focus in as they would have done for anybody else? Or but it was very pretty from the angle we saw it at. Totally looked like something I could see Lindsay doing on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, if she had a great partner like that. I had to laugh.
The interview with Jensen's parents where her dad says, I look at her dancing and I think, I've done something right. And I'm like, well, I'm sure your other 3 daughters who all dance will be happy to hear that. Right. The other 3 are crud, but look at her.
Well, and also, like, it wasn't you, dude,
Exactly. She did all those times I drove, all those bills to the dance studio I paid.
Yeah, that's
good
the
for
part
me.
You did.
Those extra hours I worked to put 4 girls through dance lessons. Excellent.
Yeah, that is true. That's the part he can take credit for.
Yeah. Maybe driving. I bet Mom drove. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, exactly.
All those costumes I bought for dance recitals, I gotta feel a little pain for a dad of 4 dancing daughters. I balked at one daughter who was like in one class.
Yes, I've bought my share. And they always hate them, and they're always itchy, and they'll never wear them again.
It's like, girls, when you start making money with your dancing, here are the bills you can begin to pay off.
Right.
Starting at age, 4, probably. Oh, well.
Yes. My daughter one time won $25 at a skating competition. And I was like, well, that will cover one 30-minute lesson.
That's right. Oh, God bless the parents.
It was nice that they showed all the
that was
parents
it was like my most memorable year, sort of in a little capsule.
Right. Just a couple of minutes of mom and dad.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know who I'm going to vote for.
I'm not sure either. I feel divided. I really like Jensen. I voted for her all along. I like her just as much now. I'm really kind of feeling Slavic though, and I feel like he's still getting a lot of backhanded compliments. Mm-hmm. Hey, much better than last week when you stunk.
Right. When you stunk, but suddenly we found that we had to put you into the top 4 because everyone voted for you. Oops.
So, but I mean, not just that, but I just really enjoyed watching him dance.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like, so I don't know.
Well, and I just feel like for him more than anyone else, he has, did not have the training that all those girls had.
Oh, yes.
His style is so different from everyone else's.
Yes.
To go from, it's one thing to go from ballroom to contemporary or whatever, or vice versa, but to go from what he does to doing anything else.
Yeah. And to also come back from last week and have some spirit left in you. I was very relieved to see that.
Right.
So, well, maybe that's gonna sway me. That's a good point. I don't think he has 15 years of expensive dance lessons and costumes in his past.
No, I don't think so.
Possibly a more difficult time than that, so.
Right. So we will see.
Yeah, we will see what happens.
Next week.
Yes.
And from the dance floor to the West Wing, this week's episode is called The Warfare of Genghis Khan. And normally we watch the episode and then we listen to the West Wing Weekly podcast that goes along with it. But it did not appear this week. So we decided to just carry on.
Yes, they are not the boss of us.
That's right.
We will watch what we want to watch when we want to watch it. Ha!
Ha. So, what did you think of The Warfare of Genghis Khan?
It's okay.
It was better than the prior one, The Slow News Day. This one was a little more of the West Wing of yore, where there's something going on, and we're following, we're going back and forth to the Situation Room, and things are happening.
Know. It just lacked a certain something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just missing Fitz in the Situation Room.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Terry O'Quinn, an actor I like very much, but he's no Admiral Fitzwallace. I miss him, and I miss his rapport with Nancy McNally, who was just there to deliver lines in as straight-faced a way as possible and had none of her usual spark.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just felt like it was color by numbers. Down to the fact that whole subplot with Josh and NASA lady, didn't Sam give pretty much exactly that speech to Mallory in an episode where it was the one where the president was going to give do the thing where he's speaking to school children about something that was going on in space, and then it fell through, something went wrong, or they weren't sure it was going to happen, and Mallory was like teasing Sam by talking about all the money, and he gave this inspirational speech. I feel like this was that scene 2.0, not as good, because NASA lady is here for one episode, and really, she's going to come and take him out. That whole thing.
Much to Donna's dismay.
Well, it's always fun to see Josh get showed up. Still, that seemed unlikely.
Yeah.
And probably there's going to be a resolution later on with CJ and the chicken guy, and I'm probably not going to enjoy it. I didn't enjoy this part of it. I want her to squash bugs swiftly and with style.
Yeah, and I thought it was out of character for Danny Kincannon to tease her about it, because he knows that this guy is a punk, and we shouldn't be feeding that troll.
His message should have been, "Don't take the bait."
Yeah,
that would have been Danny's message.
Exactly. So
that makes no sense. And how long? I'm trying to remember how long they dragged this thing with Ben calling for her and her turning him down. It's been weeks and weeks.
I know, because they keep showing it in the previously on, like,
deliver or let it die. I can't remember really what the resolution is, so it must have not been worth the incredible buildup. Just stop. Right. So I feel like it's sort of a bunch of spunky, talented kids trying to make a West Wing episode. I know, we do stuff in the sit room. Yeah. And we have somebody show Josh that he's not looking at things the right way. And space. We're inspirational. We got the inspirational thing. Somebody's being mean to CJ and she's getting mad. Yeah, we got all the elements. But it's just not, it's not
hanging.
There's like that secret spice missing.
Yeah.
Which is Aaron Sorkin's talent.
Right.
So... yeah, it was all right. It didn't, I had no trouble watching the whole thing, which distinguishes it from last week's.
Right.
But, okay.
And there's nothing they could say on the podcast that would...
Well, I will be interested to see what they say about it. I'm sure that they will find some. There were a couple of good lines here and there that made me think, oh, that was cute. But, and the vice president subplot was okay, but a little, gee, they've given me this junk thing, and it made me remember this incredibly important piece of information.
Right.
I mean, I know it was supposed to be like that, like we think this guy's worthless, and every now and then he comes up with a good idea, but it was, you could see the gears creaking their way through that thing. So,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was all right.
It gets you one step closer to the Supremes.
The Supremes, yes. Oh, I hope I'm not disappointed by that. I remember it as being quite something. But,
well, that's coming.
That's coming. We're one step closer. You are correct. Did you see anything praiseworthy about this one? Just otherwise than it was a workmanlike piece of television that exists?
Yeah, I mean, it just, after last week, that was so... painful.
It did not grab the heart out of your chest and stomp it under its boot.
It didn't have that constant sense of dread and fear that the one, even though it was about like a potential nuclear war.
It was just about the possibility of nuclear obliteration, so it was kind of a low-key episode.
So it was really fine. So, yeah, I don't know, I guess it just, I think in the same way you were saying that it was kind of like a standard, that's better than some of what we've gotten in the past. Something like that. So.
Yeah. Cross that one off the list, move on to the next. The next I don't think I liked, but I don't think it was one that I can't watch. I think I just did not care for it.
Right.
So,
well, and
there's a lot of that this season. Next season takes a turn, which was a wise turn for them to make, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, so what we decided is that we are just going to skip a week next week so that we can catch back up to the podcast, or they can catch up to us, actually.
Yes.
We
love the West Wing Weekly podcast. We really enjoy it. We've enjoyed watching it along with them and talking about it along with them, but their habit of just at the last minute saying, oh, by the way, we're taking a week off, when it's too late for us to change what we said we were going to do, they need to stop that.
Yeah.
They need to coordinate with us. Josh, Rishi, we're all over social media. Drop us a little text, drop us a message.
Right.
It's not hard.
We're just asking for everybody some notice.
Hey, at the end of one podcast, if you say, hey, don't watch the next one yet, we're taking a week off. Yeah. How can you not know?
It's not that hard.
So
it's really not that hard.
When we tell our listeners we're going to be watching something, we watch it, even if it means we don't get to listen to the podcast.
That's
right. So next week, if we have any comments on it, we shall offer them.
Right. If we have anything.
Along with some griping.
To say about their.
Yes.
About their.
We will still give them free publicity. Out of the goodness of our hearts.
Which they have never done for us, just saying.
Exactly. A little quid pro quo is all I'm asking, guys. We interrupt this podcast to remind you to please consider the free Radio Public app for all your Parenting Roundabout listening needs. If you listen to our podcast on the app, we'll get paid a little for each listen and more if you listen a lot.
It's a great way to financially support our podcast without having to actually spend, money.
Now, back to the episode.
All right. Well, should we move on?
Speaking of disappointments.
Yes, exactly. Making it.
Making it.
Was, what was it? The top 4, right?
Yes, it was the top 4. And I continue to feel like the judges need to go away, possibly even before the finale. Possibly like in the middle of this episode.
Right.
In the middle of a ridiculous statement. Mm-hmm. I think. At the point where Simon looked at Kiem's shed with a retractable roof and a Murphy bed and a fireplace and said, "Really, the fake brick wallpaper? I don't think so."
Yeah.
A giant crane should have come and taken him and swung him off over a lake someplace. That's it. You're gone. You're out.
Yeah. Yeah, that major, their big project was they had to convert a plain old shed into something more fun. And the winner was Joe, who basically painted a bunch of sticks and arranged them in a cute pattern. And Kiem, like you said, he made a retractable roof. Like, how?
And a bed that came out of the wall of a shed.
How is this? I did not get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kiem won the first challenge, which I also liked his lamp about the best. Mm-hmm. That was very cool. So I could accept that he couldn't have won because, you got to spread the wealth, even though clearly, oh my goodness, in the time it took other people to paint their thing, he completely reconstructed.
He took off the roof and put it back on.
Huge, amazing vision put through. But, Billy did something really creative and fun. And I thought Joe and Amber's were just kind of things that I could do, probably, if I wanted to. I could put up some ugly wallpaper and put some, little doodads around. I could paint pieces of wood and glue them to my walls. The guys seem to be on a different plane than the women. Mm-hmm. And how many times in this episode did they mention that Joe is an interior designer? I feel like I did not know that before, and this time they had it on flash on the screen. She said it, other people said it, but this isn't a design show, is it?
Right.
Isn't it supposed to be about, I don't know, making things?
Making things.
Those are two different skills, as is marketing for Etsy and, supervising window displays. These are all different things. So I just found her so incredibly underwhelming, and yet she was the winner.
Yeah.
And I do not get it. And it's they either they have something, they're looking for something different and they have not explained that well, mm-hmm. or they're making decisions not based on the actual work. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on, but these judges, I think Simon's been drinking out behind the barn. Has anybody been checking? Because he just seemed loopy as all get out. It's so sad because I really like it. I like seeing the things get made. Mm-hmm. I have no objection. I mean, I think it's I think Joe's was perfectly cute. I would be happy to have that in my backyard to go and make things in. But it's not, wow.
No.
It's, I think I saw that in a magazine somewhere. Which, one week, they like it if everybody's doing that. And the other week they say, this is not unique.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
Why haven't you? Oh, some of the commentary, I just wanted to hit people.
Yes, and the fact that for each and every shed, Dana said, well, you know what I wish? I wish you had blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, how about respond to what's in front of you instead of, I don't know.
You know what I wish, Dana?
Yeah, I wish you
I'll tell you
here.
What I wish. At one point she said, I mean, she's like trend lady.
Yes.
A few of her trend lady statements just had me howling. But she said, transforming a shed into a personal space is a huge trend.
Yeah.
Can this possibly be true?
Yeah.
Transforming a shed? I mean, tiny houses are a thing. I understand that. You take a little prefab tiny house, you put it in your backyard, you make it your artist studio. I completely get that. But transforming a shed?
Yeah.
That can't possibly be a thing, can it, Catherine?
Well, I have heard of the concept of, this is a terrible thing to say, she sheds. Like, you know how
like
there's...
for a man cave?
Like a man cave, but a she...
But the word shed is being used ironically there, right? It's not really you go down to Home Depot, you get yourself a metal box and with a door, and you put some pillows in it?
Good question. I don't know.
Making it. I want this. I so want this to be better. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like I feel very sorry for Billy because I think he's done great work every single week, usually neglected.
Yeah.
They're going on and on about how wonderful his felt work was last week, but last week they gave it no particular enthusiasm at all.
Right, and this week they're like, oh, it's too bad you didn't do, like, 3D with your felt like you did last time. Like, well, why does he have to do that every week? He made a totally cool project, and... Yeah.
Yeah. Your skill having to be part of your design as a requirement goes in and out. Mm-hmm. They seem to use it when they want to diss somebody. Mm-hmm. And then if they like what somebody's doing, they don't care.
Right.
I thought his lamp was pretty cool, too. I mean, it's a worthwhile complaint that it does not actually shed light. But still, that was amazing what he did there. Mm-hmm. If we're just talking about making stuff, as opposed to what was that thing that, I mean, the two women's lamps look like things I might have had in my room in the 70s.
Right.
When, I mean, I was getting macrame flashbacks from Joe's. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
And the other one is like, what, corn husks and flowers? Ugh.
Yeah.
Doesn't remind me of Goldie Hawn. It reminded me of, like, you know, crafts at the rec center in 1974.
Yeah.
So next week is the finals.
I know.
And we have, you know, it's clear that they need to fix their judging. I hope that we're not the only people saying this.
Right.
Because, ew. However, the very good idea of this season's winner should be next season's judge is only effective if this season's winner is deserving.
Right.
If this season's winner is, say, an interior designer who just, like, paints pieces of wood pretty colors, I'm not going to be so excited to see her again. And I'm actually not all that enthusiastic about Amber either. But she at least talks a good game. Mm-hmm. She always seems like she knows exactly what she's doing, and she is all for it. She's a very craftery type.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be okay.
Yeah, and I like
Kim, on the other hand, just completely rocks. Is there anything he can't do?
I know. He's amazing.
He's going to crash and burn next week. I'm just sure of it. Yeah. But I love him. I want him to win.
Yeah. I like Amber. I like her fine. I thought her grandma thing...
A ringing endorsement. I know. I like her fine.
Well, I thought her grandma thing was her shed was cute.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a little more, I think, original or something than Joe's was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think she's got a little more game than Joe.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. I would like Kim to be the winner and Billy to be the runner-up, but that ain't going to happen. So.
Well, especially since Billy's gone now.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So I'm rooting for Kim. I don't know. It seems like they were praising him to high heaven this week, which means he'll probably not win. Yeah. But they were giving him a little too much of a push.
Mm-hmm. Well, he is very talented, so...
He really is. Hopefully, is there the same kind of thing with these makers that we can say about, say, So You Think You Can Dance kids, that just getting the publicity of being on the show is going to be enough to, blast them to stardom?
Hopefully.
Are there people lining up to have Kim come and make stuff for them now?
Stuff for them. I don't know.
I would like a stargazing shed in my backyard.
Right. Come on over, Kim.
Please come craft one for me. You can put up fake brick. That's fine. Well, they expect this guy to lay brick in the, 3 days they gave them to, I'm sorry, you completely reconstructed your shed and put all these fancy things in it, but
then you had to go
take an extra few hours to, put an actual brick wall in, man. What are you doing?
Oh, boy.
You looked fine,
yeah,
Simon.
It really did. right. Well, so next week we are going to cover the finale of Making It and also of So You Think You Could Dance.
Yes.
And because of that and because of our screwed up viewing schedule with the West Wing Weekly podcast, we will just have those two things because we think that will be plenty for us to discuss.
And if they say anything of interest on the podcast, we will possibly comment on it.
Yes. But we will consider it.
We will consider it, West Wing Weekly. Even though you don't care about us.
That's right. So that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. And we always drop them. We never miss.
We never do. Even though you might wish it sometimes. We never do.
And as always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, Kathy.
Bye, everyone.